This video is a French speaking test, so it will allow you to assess your own level and to see where you're at in spoken French. And I highlight the spoken French. There's no quiz to fill. It's really about making sentences in French. There's no question on French writing. Here the goal is to see if you can say sentences in French on the spot. So, I'm just going to say sentences in English. And after every sentence, I let you the time to say the sentence in French. It's not a speed test. You have the time. And then I say it in French. And I tell you briefly about the grammar points involved in the sentence. So you can directly see what you know, or actually what you can say in French. Maybe you'll know the words and the rules, but what's important is if you can use them when you want to speak French. And so you'll see what you should focus on to improve your French speaking. So let's start with easy sentences. How do you say, I'm going to work in Paris by train in French? So, I'm going to work in Paris by train. Je vais travailler à Paris en train. So, in this sentence, we have the verb to go in present tense. We have the in Paris. So here the question is, which small word should you insert before a city in French? And we also have the by train. So how to say by in French when you mean by a transport. Then can you ask, how does she go to Paris? Comment est-ce qu'elle va à Paris? The grammar point is how to ask questions in French, with or without a question word. And what's the words order in questions in spoken French? So you see that I'm not writing the sentences in French, because here it's not the point. The question that counts is, can you make the sentences in spoken French? So it's like in real life. Actually, in real life, there's nothing written at all. But here, you can really see your real, actual level in spoken French. So now let's say, she's going to live in Lyon to work. Elle va habiter à Lyon pour travailler. So here the main grammar point is pour. That means in order to in French. Or that means to when to means in order to. And pour is mandatory in these cases. So that's very important that you know when you should say pour and when you should not say pour. Now can you say, we don't live in Lyon anymore because we don't work in Lyon anymore. On n'habite plus à Lyon parce qu'on travaille plus à Lyon. So here you have to say anymore in French. So anymore, no longer, or no more are the same idea and the same word in French, which is plus. And you have to know where to place plus in the French sentence. So plus takes the place of pas just after the verb, just after the first verb in French. We played for an hour. On a joué pendant 1 heure. So here we really need to hear the a of on a joué, the verb to have, because here it's the passé composé. And to say for an hour, here we have for plus a time span. So that for plus time span is pendant. Pendant 1 heure. On a joué pendant 1 heure. And how do you say we played every day? On jouait tous les jours. So here we have every day, that is all the days in French, tous les jours, and here you have to use the imparfait. So on and directly jouer. On jouait tous les jours. So the point here is really to make the difference between the passé composé and the imparfait. Can you say, they women tried every week for a year? Elles ont essayé toutes les semaines pendant 1 an. So here it's important to say the passé composé. And then can you say, he asked 3 times while he was working. Il a demandé 3 fois pendant qu'il travaillait. So here we have typically a sentence that starts with the passé composé with the verb to ask. So demander, you write demander, but in spoken French you always skip the I of demander. So you say il a demandé. You also have the word while. So while in French is pendant que. So actually it's the for that, the for plus time span plus that, pendant que. And then we have he was working, and the structure was working is always the imparfait in French. So il travaillait. I'm looking for it masculine, but I don't find it masculine. Je le cherche, mais je le trouve pas. So here we introduce the it as a pronoun, as an object pronoun. So here the masculine it in French is le, that you place just before the verb it is associated with. When was he looking for you informal? Quand est-ce qu'il te cherchait? So here we have a question with when. With when you have to say est-ce que after quand, and you have to pronounce the D of quand like a T. So quand est-ce que? And we also have the informal you but as an object pronoun, which is te. Yesterday, she was having a coffee when we were there. Hier, elle prenait un café quand on était là. So here we have she was having a coffee. So was having in French is the imparfait. But you don't use the verb to have in French. When you're having something to drink or to eat, you use the verb to take in French. So elle prenait. He's not happy because he was working when we were watching a movie. So this one is a long sentence, but what's important is that you think of it block by block. So you have the time to say it, but just say block by block. He's not happy because he was working when we were watching a movie. Il n'est pas content parce qu'il travaillait quand on regardait un film. So here we have the verb to be in present tense. So il est, and then the negation in spoken French is pas just after the verb. So il est pas content. And then we have the structure was working, and then were watching. So in French, it's the imparfait. So we were watching, on regardait. Even if when you write the verb for to watch, regarder, you skip the first sound e. You just have the sound of the R in spoken French. So regarder. It's Noémie's car. It's blue. C'est la voiture de Noémie. Elle est bleue. So here what's important is how do you say it's or it is? Should you say this is or it is? And actually it is doesn't exist in French. You have to say he is or she is. So il est or elle est. And when you have to say this is, you say c'est. And we also have Noémie's car. That doesn't exist in French. When something belongs to someone, you have to say the car of Noémie. And that also applies when you have two nouns in a row. You have to say the thing of the thing, or the thing of the person that you mean. I was sure that it was Florent's cell phone on this table. J'étais sûr que c'était le portable de Florent sur cette table. So here we have the verb to be in the imparfait. You also have Florent's cell phone. So in French, you have to say the cell phone of Florent. And you also have the this, here the feminine this, which is cette, to say this table. So, cette table. I didn't put it on this table. Je l'ai pas posé sur cette table. So here we have it as an object pronoun. It could be a masculine it or a feminine it. But here we use the passé composé. And with the passé composé, the it goes before all the verbs, before the verb to have. That starts with a vowel, or that is a vowel here. So the le or the la turns into L apostrophe. Where do you informal want to go? Où est-ce que tu veux aller? So here we have the verb to want. That is irregular but not very difficult. So here, tu veux, and then directly the verb in the infinitive. So aller. Où est-ce que tu veux aller? He didn't buy this watch because he couldn't. Il n'a pas acheté cette montre parce qu'il pouvait pas. So here we have the verb to buy, acheter, that you write acheter, but that you never pronounce like that. You say acheter in the passé composé. Here the first verb is in the passé composé. So, il n'a pas acheté cette montre. And then we have the verb can, or to be able to, but in the imparfait. So, parce qu'il pouvait pas. So here it's important to know the verb to want and can and to be able to in the present tense and in the imparfait. We watched a very interesting movie. On a regardé un film très intéressant. Here, an important grammar point is the adjective and the place of the adjective. So in French, most adjectives goes after the noun. So a very interesting movie in French is un film très intéressant. With very, that is très, the S is usually silent, but you have to pronounce it when the following word starts with a vowel. In French, usually you don't pronounce the last consonant of words, except with articles and pronouns when the following word starts with a vowel. But that also applies with very few words like très for very. It was a long series, but it wasn't too long. C'était une longue série. Mais elle n'était pas trop longue. And here we also have an adjective. So, long. But this time, it's a size adjective. And size adjectives goes always before the noun. So, c'était une longue série. And then we have too. So in French, the idea of too many, or too much is trop. Mais elle n'était pas trop longue. The women don't agree because they can't use anything. Elles sont pas d'accord parce qu'elles peuvent rien utiliser. And here we have the verb to agree, which in French is to be of accord. So you have to use the verb to be in French. So elles sont, then the negation, pas, and then d'accord. You also have the verb can, pouvoir, but this time with a plural pronoun. So elles peuvent. And if you want to say they can't use anything, this structure with a negation and then anything doesn't exist in French. You have to say they can use nothing. With the nothing, rien, just after the first verb. So, elles peuvent rien utiliser. So, these were sentences of the A2 level, which is quite a good level actually when you can master it in spoken French. With a good A2 level, you can already manage to have some conversations in French. And actually here we've covered only 1/4 of the grammar points of the A2 level. So if you find that you were hesitating or you made mistakes and you want to improve your French speaking, I explain you how to make the first sentences that we did here, but in a free masterclass that you can get with the link in the description. It's a spoken French masterclass. So you really get to make French sentences out loud with confidence. Actually, you'll get a speaking method, so it's perfect if right now you're freezing when you try to speak French. There you will practice your French speaking, but specifically to be good at speaking. And you will actually enjoy putting words together into French sentences. You can get this free masterclass with the link in the description. So if you want to learn to speak French with confidence, I see you there.